right. Hey, folks, I think we are live. Give me a second here. I'm futzing with my volume a little bit. Let's see if we can get a confirmation here. It's going to take me just a moment for me to get up and running here, to update my links. Seems like the volume sounded here, pretty good. Update my links. Yeah, it sounds really good. Cool. We'll drop that down there. Give me a hot second here while I do some social media posts real quick. I'll go through an intro here to say, hey, what's up? And then we'll get kicking today. We're doing a lunch design stream. It's Friday, the 1st of August. We are developing the Bastion campaign supplement for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 mechanics, expanding on and deepening the mechanical systems of the Bastion's idea that was presented in the DMG 2024 as a means of giving a hideout or small dominion to characters as something to add to the campaign. Well, we are restructuring that to be a deep dive into a mechanical system of rewards and risks for characters to use the Dominion style of gameplay to basically build a campaign around based on the risks and rewards of orders that you issue to the hirelings in your Bastion facilities. So give me a second here while I'm doing the social media posts to get this thing updated. And so just let me distract you here real quick while I go through that. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been developing content for Dungeons & Dragons in 5th edition on the DMsGuild since 2018. I've been a DM across Redbox till present day since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. And I love the Dominion style of play. So when WotC announced that they were adding Bastions to the 5e 2024 revisions, I knew that whether I liked that system or not, it was something that would allow me to lean into the Dominion style of play in the 5e game system, whether I decided to use their Bastion system or not. It's people are now thinking and talking about it. So I found it to be a little bit thin on mechanics, so I wanted to add depth to it. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications to get more information in the future when I'm live. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews. Check them out so you get an idea of the kind of ideas that I develop and the artwork that I create to go along with them. And the playtest document for the Bastion system here. For you, it's read-only. Once it publishes on the DMsGuild, we'll have a 100% free preview, just like everything else that I have linked down below. But while it's in development, I can't just give it to you. That's one of the rules of publishing content on the DMsGuild. But you can at least take a look and see where it's going. And if you want to participate in the playtest, you can join my Discord channel down below, and you'd be most welcome to do so. So be welcome to ask questions in chat, or join me in Discord, or hit me up on social medias where you see that I've gone live. You're welcome in all these places. So we are going to actually just simplify the point system here from 1 to 10 and then 11 to 20. This is a little bit more intuitive. 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and then 41 plus points is the number of Bastion points that you have per rank. Let's see, we have a leveling up system here that we want to be at 11 here. We want to be at 21 here. We want to be at 31 here. And we want to be at 41 here. 41, 45, 50. So that's 4 points. That's 4 points. That's 3 points. Let's see. 1 point, 2 points. Yeah, that's just not jiving. Let's see. 3... 5, 8, 11, 1, 2, and then 2 points, then 3 points, and then 3 points. Can we do this? Can we do this different? No, because I want to hit these benchmarks of 1 and then 11 and then 21 and then 31. There's no real elegant way to hit 10 points in 4 spaces and be consistent across all the levels. That's just a shortcoming of math. So I'm just gonna have to jive with it. What if I go to 1, 3, 6, 9? 1, 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 16, 19. Maybe that'll be a better way to do it. 1, 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 16, 19, 21. Okay, this seems to be a system that works. 16, 20, 26, 29, 31, 33, 36, 39, 41, 43. Nope, we're going to go 41, 39, 41, 44. No. Let's do like 43. Is that how we want to do this? 46. Let's go to 51 here. And then say 57, 54. So that's 3 points, 2 points, 3 points, 3 points, 4 points. Two, 44, 47, 3 points, 3 points, 4 points. So 3 points, 3 points, 2 points, 3 points, 3 points, 4 points. Okay, I'm okay with that. It's not perfect progression, but I like us ending at 51, which is the same as we end with Renown and Piety points. Blump, 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 blump. Fix my screen. There. Okay, this will make it a little bit easier to curve through here. And then 1 to 10, 11 to 20. Yeah, this will just be better. 20, that's to 30. And then we have 31 to 40. And we have 41. That makes sense. Yeah, because that way it's... that gets us to 1,000 gold. And then we've got 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. Is that mathing out right? If I go from 1 to 10, that'll get us to 1,000. And then 11 to 20 is also 1,000, so that gets us to 10,000. And then starting at 21, it's 10,000 gold. And then, so 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That takes us to 100,000. And then each point at 31 to 40 is 100,000 apiece. And then at 5th rank, 41. I mean, at 5th rank, we're dealing with like water deep. It takes colossal amounts of resources for Waterdeep to actually convert gold into additional resources that can affect the entire population of 2 million, like 1 million people plus another 1.5 million of transients that are currently visiting. So the dollar scale, so the gold conversion scale there is, it works. We've already looked at that in past streams. It's just yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So 1 to 10, that'll end up being 1,000 points, 1,000 gold. And then once we get to that point, it flips over. Now from 11 to 20 points, it's worth 1,000 gold each. And then it gets to 10k at that point. And then 21 to 30, it's worth. Yeah, that works. Okay. So let's see, reward based. Let's see. For example, the local king issues a quest to adventurers to clear orcs from an old keep on the borderlands. If the characters succeed, the king grants a deed to the keep for the characters to have as bastions and rewards 9 bastion points worth 900 gold as a rank 1 bastion. If during the adventure the characters gain 3,000 experience points, they can spend 100 gold to gain a 10th bastion point, increasing the keep to rank 2, and spend 1,000 gold pieces more to gain an 11th bastion point, leaving 1,900 GP to spend on equipment and other expenses as desired. Period. Comma. Characters gain. There we go. Let's put in some commas here just to keep the eye from crossing when we're looking at so many zeros. Comma. Okay, we're going to work specifically on how to use Bastion points today. Aside from accumulating the Bastion points to increase the rank of your Bastion, and increasing the rank of your Bastion gives you more orders, as well as, damn it. It works like that, Kearney. Thank you. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. There we go. Okay, great. Check. Let's see. Reward-based, self-funded, blending methods, multiple and shared bastions, Bastion points. So, accumulating Bastion points not only determines the rank of the Bastion, but they can also be used to acquire and improve facilities, issue orders, issue orders, and modify D20 tests that the Bastion that hirelings and characters make while in the Bastion. With the Bastion, period. Basic use of Bastion points. Let's see. Sustain facilities in your Bastions. You can expend Bastion points to install and improve facilities in your Bastion up to 1 point per rank per facility. Sustain a lifestyle for your Bastion as described in the basic maintain orders below. You can expend Bastion points to sustain the current level of lifestyle maintained by the Bastion. That's a little bit more detail than I think I need right now. Sustain a lifestyle. Sustaining a lifestyle for your Bastion. Expending Bastion points. You can expend Bastion points. You can expend Bastion points to maintain a lifestyle. To maintain a minimum lifestyle for all hirelings and characters while at the Bastion, as detailed in the maintain order as detailed in the orders issuing orders section below. Issue additional orders sustain a lifestyle. Let's call it, how about maintain facilities in your Bastion. You can expend Bastion points to install, improve, and improve bastions in your facilities. 1 Bastion point per rank. You can expend Bastion points to maintain a minimum lifestyle for all hirelings in your Bastion, as detailed in the facilities section below. Sustaining a lifestyle for your Bastion. Let's see, basic uses of Bastion points. Issue additional orders to your Bastion. Let's see, you can expend Bastion points to issue orders to hirelings in the facilities of your Bastion, as detailed in the issuing orders section below. In the issuing orders section below. When you issue an order that would fatigue your Bastion die, issuing orders to your Bastion. Let's see. Maintain, sustain, issue orders. And when you issue an order that would fatigue your Bastion dice, you can ignore that penalty during to, let's see. Let's see. Issue orders. How do I want to order that? Let's just, you can expend Bastion points to issue orders. Let's see. Overcome, neutralize, overcome. No. Yeah, I think I want to leave that off. Let's blank that out for the time being. If we need to add it back in, we will. Unique uses of Bastion points. Unique uses. Some facilities have unique ways to spend Bastion points. Basic. Let's see. In addition, to the basic uses of Bastion points, some facilities have unique ways to spend can use Bastion points have unique uses of Bastion points as detailed in the facilities section below, period. Maintain facilities. You can expend Bastion points to install. Let's see, Bastion points. Accumulating Bastion points not only determines the rank of the Bastion, but they can also be used to acquire and improve facilities, issue orders, and modify D20 tests that hirelings make with the Bastions. This might be redundant language. Installing and maintaining How about adding and maintaining facilities? Facilities in your bastion, sustaining a lifetime for your bastion, issuing orders to your bastion. Let's see. In addition, in your bastion, period. Is that true? Are there other? We're gonna have to put an open query here. Is this still true? Because that might not be true anymore. Let's put a comment on here. Are there still unique facility uses for Bastion points? I believe the answer is yes. Like with magic, yes, there is actually. I can actually just cancel that because there is. Let's see, adding and improving facilities. Yeah, that feels good. This isn't necessarily the proper order of the information. We're just taking each of the sections that we have and just adding a little bit more connective tissue to start fleshing out some of the language and wording on these things. So this probably isn't the best way to order the information, but it is a way for us to organize our thoughts. So as we continue going through this process, we're going to end up hiring an editor and a co-writer to help make sure all of this connective tissue makes sense during the process. Right now, we're just locking down the mechanical like the mechanics of how the system works, and start fleshing out the wording to it beyond just phrases and half notes. So we have Bastion Points of Facilities, hirelings and issuing orders, armies, franchises, creating adventure hooks, creating items and equipment. That's beyond the scope of just the facility. So let's drop that out of the way. Each facility requires a minimum space to function. Let's see, facilities. Facilities are areas within a bastion that hirelings and characters and hirelings can use to can use during downtime activities, and that characters can use, that's how we should word that, is that characters can use during downtime activities, and that hirelings use to carry out orders that are issued, period. The hire as each facility requires 1 bastion point to add to the bastion, and increase and improving Each facility requires 1 Bastion point each to install, to add. Each facility requires 1 Bastion. Each facility requires 1 Bastion point to be added to the. That's horrible language, but to be added to the Bastion, and 1 point each to improve the rank. The max rank. Let's see. Facilities. How do we break down facilities? Let's see if we can step back for a second. What do we need to worry about facilities? What are facilities? Let's see. Adding and improving facilities in your bastion. In a bastion. Space and hirelings needed to operate a facility. And then list of facilities. So that seems to be the proper breakdown. So what are facilities? Facilities, and that's kind of subsumed into the title. That's like the preamble for what facilities are as we develop them. So what are facilities? So we can take that and we can cut be the list of facilities. Good. Adding and improving facilities, space and hirelings needed to operate a facility. And then list of facilities. That's good. And then size of facilities. Rank. What are facilities? Facilities are areas within. Facilities are areas within a bastion that characters can that are equipped, that have with equipment and materials that characters can use during downtime activities, and that hirelings can use to carry out orders that are issued. To the Bastion, period. Each facility requires 1 Bastion point to be added to the Bastion, and 1 point each to improve the rank. Timely timer. Let's see. Geez, time is really just flying by today. There we go. Adding and improving facilities. Each facility, 1 Bastion point to be added. Below is a list of facilities that can be added to a bastion. Each facility requires 1 bastion point to be added to the bastion and 1 point each to improve the rank. Let's see. Some facilities have a minimum rank prerequisite. I don't need to include that yet. Let's see. Below is a list of facilities that can be added to a bastion. Each facility requires 1 bastion point to be added to the bastion and 1 point each to improve the rank. A bastion up to the maximum, the total number of bastion points that can be spent on any individual facility. Let's see. The total number of bastion points cannot exceed the current rank of the bastion itself. For example, probably don't need an example. We'll include one. For example, a rank 3 bastion can have a rank 3 smithy, workshop, library, and other. For example, a rank 3 bastion has at most 10, 20, 30, at most 30 bastion points, which would allow for a total of 10 facilities of 3rd rank at rank 3 or 15 facilities at rank 2 improved. Could have a total of 10 facilities improved to rank 2 to rank 3, or 15 facilities improved to rank 2. How many facilities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. For a total of 10 facilities improved to rank 3, or 15 facilities improved to rank 2. Comma, 15 facilities. 10 facilities improved to rank 3. 15 facilities improved to rank 2. 30 facilities at only rank 1, or any combination of facilities from rank 1 to 3 that a rank 3 bastion, for example, a rank 3 bastion with, let's do it like this, with 24 bastion points. Can have a total of 8 facilities, improved rank 3, 12 facilities, improved rank 2, 24 facilities added at rank 1, or any combination of facilities from rank 1 to 3 that total up to 24 points. Adding and improving facilities. Space and hirelings. Adding and each facility added or improved requires 1 bastion turn for each point spent. Requires a separate order for each point spent, up to 1 per facility, each bastion turn. There. Space and hireling, that helps. You could put in 3. You could afford maybe 3 points to put into a bastion, but it's going to take 3 separate orders across 3 bastion turns for you to go from 0, like not having a workshop. After 1 bastion turn, investing 1 point, you can have a first rank, a rank 1 workshop, and then the following bastion turn, you could put another point into it to improve it to 2nd rank. And then the 3rd bastion turn, you can put a 3rd point in and improve it to 3rd rank. But if you're only 3rd rank if you only have a 3rd rank bastion, that's your cap until your bastion gets to 4th rank. And there are only 5 ranks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets you through the entire spread of effectively character level 1 to 17, capping in 17, 18, 19, 20 is effectively the same thing. Take a sip. Let's see. So space and hirelings, we want to lay out, again, we're just very roughly, we're just trying to fill in individual details of how all of these different components and aspects of the document, we're trying to add enough connective tissue to all of these different components so we can start seeing when is the logical position each of these pieces of information will be located inside the document so that it has a logical flow of information from I don't know anything about what a Bastion campaign is through getting to the end of the document of I could completely run a campaign built around Bastion operations for my characters, whether a single group of characters or multiple characters or as a West March format or as an exploration format or as a conquest format. That's the goal. So we want to make sure that we're providing all the information that you need for how all these different components work, but it has to have a logical progression so that you can, one piece of information adds on to the next. And I don't necessarily assume that the order that they're in right now is the proper order, but hopefully as we continue developing the document and providing description, all the connective text that goes through this process, it'll start becoming apparent. Well, I need to discuss orders before facilities, so then when we start talking about the orders that can be issued through facilities, you have a point of reference to use there. So, but I think facilities could come first. I might need to mention orders, but I don't need to dive into the details of orders until after we have all the facilities that describe what all the different orders, like how you can utilize all the different orders. That's the thought process there. So adding and improving facilities, for example, blah, blah, blah. Each facility added or improved requires a separate order for each point spent. And we discussed in our last session, episode Design 2, which was last night, describing how you get these Bastion points, which can either be automatically gained as our character gains levels. And here's our progression for how many points you would have at each level. You can also gain them through rewards as treasure or as a reward for a quest. And each point has a gold value per point. So the first 10 and again, it's up to 1 to 10 points for first rank, 11 to 20 for second rank, 21 to 30 for third rank, 31 to 40 for fourth rank, and at 41 plus points, it's a fifth rank bastion. If you're creating your bastions so that they are automatically scaling with your character's levels, then this is the total number of bastion points that you can have at each level as you go through the progression. But you could also have the bastion gain ranks separately from the character, so they're not connected. The character can then decide, as the players as a team can decide how much do we want to lean into developing these factions versus having traditional gold and magic items and stuff in our pockets that we're purchasing with gold from adventurers. But one of the things about D&D is that after a while, the amount of gold becomes a little ridiculous. Like a very rare magic item is like 40,000 gold a pop. A legendary magic item is 200,000 gold each. On 100, so you've got common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary magic items, and then you can't make artifacts. Those are the purview of the gods. So you have 5 ranks of magic items: common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. And then we have 5, and you have basically each rarity has a generic basic cost. It's 100 gold. For permanent magic, it's half if it's a consumable item. But for permanent items, it's 100 gold, 400 gold, 100 gold, 400 gold, 4,000 gold, 40,000 gold, 200,000 gold. So the gold costs for magic items are within the reach of a single bastion point. So a first rank bastion point is worth 100 gold. A first rank magic item, a common magic item, is at most 100 gold. So a bastion point is basically worth the same as a magic item. Second rank, a bastion point is worth 1,000 gold, while a uncommon magic item is worth 400 gold. So well within the means of a bastion point to be able to create a magic item. At, let's see, 100, 400, and it's 4,000. It's 4,000 gold for a rare magic item, but at third rank it's 100, 1,000. It's 10,000 gold. At third rank, a single bastion point is worth 10,000 gold, while a third rank rare magic item is worth 4,000 gold. So a single bastion point is more than the value of a third rank rare magic item. Fourth rank, it's 100,000 gold for a bastion point, and a very rare magic item, a fourth rank magic item, is 40,000 gold. Again, a single bastion point can purchase a very rare magic item. And then at 17th level, fifth rank, a bastion point is worth 1,000,000 gold, while a legendary magic item is worth 200,000 gold pieces. So the scale of your bastion is always going to be able to match or outproduce the cost of a magic item, which sets the stage for us to be able to use our bastions to create magic items of a comparable or lower rank. Like, it'd be easy for a fourth rank laboratory to make a common magic potion, for instance, because it's so far below rank of what the facility has been equipped to produce that it's just, yeah, you can just produce that. It's still going to take an order and consume time to be able to produce that item, but you should have little difficulty, which will be reflected in a Bastion D20 test with a very low difficulty rating, a very low DC, to be able to produce that magic item in the facility that has all the equipment, resources, and hirelings that are trained to make that stuff. Like in the Eberron campaign, you have mage rights, which are NPC characters that are trained and specialized in producing and manufacturing magical, like low power magical effects. So in Eberron campaign setting, if you had a mage right workshop of 3rd rank, those mage rights, when they're in that facility working together at 3rd rank, they would be able to produce rare magic items. It would be difficult. The D20 test would have a high DC, like a DC 20, so it's like not guaranteed that they would make it. But again, whenever like we talked about before, whenever you fail a D20 test in the Bastion system, it doesn't mean that you failed making the item. It means that your hirelings ran into a complication that's preventing them from furthering progress until the complication gets resolved, which can either require you to expend additional Bastion points or orders to overcome the complication, and taking potentially more time to do so, or it can trigger an adventure, a plot hook, an adventure hook for your characters to embark upon, that once they complete that adventure, it clears up the complication and the hirelings can finish producing, can finish the order that had been issued to them. So that's the idea that goes behind it, specifically like for building magic items. Like you have to have the proper materials, you have to have the magical formula that would be needed to make it, you need to have the proper rank facility to do so, and you need the amount of time required to make that item. So those are all the components that go into making magic items that the DM has control over. Well, the DM doesn't really have control over how much time it takes. That's already set. But whether or not the characters can get access to the formula or not is a yes or no question from the DM. But if the DM says yes, you can have the formula to, say, Brooms of Flying, but you have to discover the formula to do so. But you're allowed to make that item when you succeed at getting the formula and creating the items. You can have Broomsticks of Flying. That'll be fine. That's like the something that the DM is already okayed. Now that it's okay to make that magic item, it's now up to the players to decide how are we going to go about building those items. You can research the magical formula, or you can make an adventure hook out of finding the formula to do so. And the DM can decide whether there's any exotic material components needed to be able to produce the magical broomsticks beyond just having a broomstick. So that could then also either be an additional adventure quest plot hook, or it could instigate you issuing orders to gather materials through trade to pull in the exotic materials that you need to be able to produce the items. And you can use and issue an order. You can issue the order of researching, like through archives, libraries, and reliquaries, to discover the formula needed to make a flying broomstick. So once you've discovered the formula and you have the necessary materials in place, now you can actually attempt to craft a broomstick of flying. And at any of these points, you could have a failed D20 test. And again, when you fail a D20 test, it means that something came up that's preventing the hirelings from proceeding with that process. And you could then either invest more resources through your Bastion into resolving those complications, or it creates a plot, an adventure hook that your characters can go on during this week's, like this Bastion turn, which is typically a week long. By the time you resolve the adventure, you come back and you gain whatever you gain from the adventure, plus whatever the complication was, you resolve the complication. And resolving the complication is built into the adventure. So when the DM presents, here's an adventure that you had a problem with your broomstick, you can't find a magical formula, but you know for a fact that there's a sect of night hags that famously ride broomsticks. and you know that they always have a broomstick ride and the full moon every month. So the full moon happens to be this week. If you want to track down those night hags, you might be able to win the. You might be able to get away to have those night hags give you the formula to how they made their broomsticks, so you can also have broomsticks. That could be a heist mission, sneaking into their lair to dig through their notes to find the formula. It could be a race. Like they'll give you the formula to a broomstick, but you have to race them on broomsticks before they'll give you the formula. So now you have like this race set up between your characters on brooms versus night hags and their minions on brooms, and you'll have a course that you can run on. Like you got to get from like Waterdeep to Hellspire or something like that. And if you're in the top, like if anyone on your team is in the top 3 people that get there first, then you win, and we'll give you the formula. Otherwise, we'll require, or you could just buy it. Like we're going to take 15% of your soul, and in exchange, we'll give you a we'll give you the formula. So if you're using soul coins from Descent into Avernus, then you can be giving away pieces of your soul to these night hags to get the formula that you need for the broomstick. So they give you the broomstick. And it's like, well, shit, the brooms have to be made from sorewood. So now we have to go to a forest that has sorewood in it, and wouldn't you know it, we don't have access to that resource. So you could issue an order to your Bastion to establish a trade route and commerce connections with a lumberjack guild that gathers sorewood. So now you can, after another Bastion turn, you can establish that line of connection. But something could go wrong. Like, hey, we would love to give you sorewood, but there's this new clave of cloud giants that are in the area, and they're decreeing that sorewood is sacred, and they're not letting us go anywhere near them. So if you want sorewood, you have to help us take care of these cloud giants. And again, as a rare magic, I think they're rare magic items. That would be appropriate for a 9th to 12th level character group. So like these are the like fucking around with night hags, messing around with cloud giants. That feels like an 11th level thing to do. So like that's actually kind of curving out to like what's the scale of adventure that would be fun for 11th level characters. These are the kind of adventures that would be fun for those characters. You could try to get broomsticks like at level 5 or 6, but like night hags and cloud giants, that's like really fucking dangerous for 6th level characters. Sorry, I'm sitting on my chair's weird. I had to rearrange it. It's like these are like those complications might be more powerful than what your team. And now I'm actually kind of curious. Let's go. I actually want to know the answer to that. Where is here? It is Bastions. Let's click and add that up here. Let's go over here. I'm actually interested now. Broom of Flying. Is it a rare magic item or is it uncommon? It says it's uncommon. So you would technically be able to make this at 5th level. So maybe it wouldn't be night hags. Maybe it'd be green hags. And I think the cloud giants might be appropriate. That could still be cool, but like maybe it's a cloud giant, a single cloud giant. That would probably be more appropriate. Cloud giant. Let's look up a cloud giant. And let's see what its CR is. CR9, 5,000. So yeah, a cloud giant, maybe a couple cloud giants and their minions, that'd be appropriate for a 6th level team. That would be an appropriate challenge rating if the team wanted to go beat up the giant so they can get access to sorewood. But overall, you can see how wanting to have magic items basically sets up this cascade of potential adventure hooks and complications that can occur while you're attempting to be able to produce these things. And so anytime your character wants a magic item, like the DM could give you broomsticks as a result of defeating like the green hag or the night hag or whatever in their broom race. Maybe they'll give you one. And they'll give you the formula so you can make more of them. That might be a good way to do it. You could always get a magic item and destroy the magic item to then be able to get the formula from the magic item, and artificers get the formula. An artificer on your team automatically gets formula, which we have built into our mana system. You can get at first level, 5th level, 9th level, 13th level, 17th level. An artificer can get common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary formulae that they can then create on their own, or while they have that formula prepared, they can, in their Bastion, use downtime activity to create those magic items for more than one beyond just themselves, or while in the Bastion, they can assist their hirelings and issue orders to their hirelings to work with them to be able to produce those magic items potentially more quickly. So all the components that we have in these different game systems that we've been developing here on stream work together to be able to have a more cohesive set of rules that are self-referenced and self-reinforcing in the structure from level 1 to 20. That's the ideas. So, so you can gain Bastion points as rewards for adventures. You can get them automatically as you gain levels. You can get them as rewards. So like if your team is 5th level, thus having access to 2nd rank bastions, right? If you decide to implement Bastion points as part of rewards, when they gain a treasure trove, or like if they're hired by the local duke to clear hill giants out of an area, the duke could reward your team with, here I'm giving you 3 Bastion points to improve your install barracks in your facilities, so that in the future, if I need your help, you'll have soldiers to help aid in that mission. So you can have as rewards just given Bastion points either to do something specific with them, or just here's a cache of Bastion points for you to spend on your facilities or on the operations of your Bastion as you please, instead of having to hand you a huge sack of gold and saying spend this. It might be ridiculous in your campaign, like 3rd rank characters, to get 3,000 gold from a small town, but that small town could give you a pub. It's like, hey, we don't have the gold that we need that you've earned for helping us with this, but we do have this abandoned pub. If you decide that you want to stick around, we'll give you the deed to the pub. We'll even help you clean the place up. And now you've got a pub. You've got 3 points worth of Bastion in this small town in the form of a pub, and now you have hirelings that they're basically running business there on your behalf and in your name. Hey Steve, it's good to see you. Yeah, Bastion's for exactly. Bastion's for Beckme. I love Beckme, and 5e does not have a good Beckme Dominion system. The Bastion system that's in the DMG is essentially, it's the social pillar, because there's no risk, reward, or challenges that really go along with operating a Bastion. You just tell the DM, like, you have a very limited set of things that you can do with your facilities and Bastions as written, and you tell the DM what you want to do from that list, and you just do it. There's no challenge involved with it. There might be a Bastion event, but it doesn't put anything at risk. This system allows you to have far more rewards, but also introduces a lot more risks. But all of these risks can be, instead of putting the risk on the Bastion, the characters can take on the risk and create an adventure hook out of it. So if you want to keep your Bastion from being put at risk, you put your characters in the way of your Bastion so that they're the ones that are taking the heat in the form of the adventure hook that you're presenting. There you go. That's the idea. So we know that we can automatically gain Bastion points when we gain levels if you want. That's an easy way to do it. I don't necessarily recommend that, but it is a way to do it. It also really ties in the level of your Bastion corresponds to the level of your characters, so that makes sense. And then there's gaining rewards, and each as your Bastion gains ranks, it gains higher. It has a higher potential gold value. That when you put Bastion points into a higher ranked Bastion, those Bastion points naturally have a higher gold piece value than it's basically a meta currency. Here's 3 Bastion points. Well, at first level, those 3 Bastion points are worth 300 gold. At 17th level, those 3 Bastion points are worth 300,000 gold. And it takes 100,000 gold per Bastion point. So instead of giving your team, here's 150,000 gold pieces, you could instead say, here's 10 gems. that are worth 5,000 gold each. Conveniently enough, you can now use those to resurrect your characters with your resurrection spell, and you get a Bastion point that you can apply to one of your Bastions. Or you can take that Bastion point, cash it in as 100,000 gold, and then have 10 Bastion points for a Bastion that you're trying to get to 3rd rank. Because at 3rd rank, each Bastion point is worth 10,000 gold. So when you get a Bastion point, you can exchange it to set up a bunch of smaller Bastions, or you can expand a current Bastion that's already high rank to push it up with an additional point to help push it into a higher rank. Or you can just cash it out as gold. But as you go on in the campaign, there's less and less things that you need gold for. Once you get around 50,000 plus gold, the only thing that you're spending that gold on is massive magic items, Spelljammer, ships and fleets of vessels, and fortresses and shit. Like, there's not a lot that you need gold for, and converting all of that gold currency into this meta currency of Bastion points allows you, like, you can use Bastion points to construct ships. You can use Bastion points to acquire magic items. You can use Bastion points to acquire property. Like, it basically folds all that gold, and like, if you find yourself with, we've got 30,000 gold and don't know what to do with it, well, you could use that to establish a number of small businesses that you can, like, in each city that you go to, you could purchase a property and put some Bastion points into it. Now you're franchising, so you always have an inn to go to. They'll always have a room for you because you have a staked, invested interest in, you know, the Dragonheart Inn franchise. So you establish a Dragonheart Inn in every town that you go to, and you're investing Bastion points to make sure that those are there. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Fernando, it's good to see you, my guy. I would love to play a campaign with some kind of Bastion system. The concept looks interesting, but looks like the system has some things to fix. Meh, it's coming along. It's been working. I've been using Bastions in my home team, in my Spelljammer Eberron campaign for about a year now, and it's been running well. The adventuring format, the facilities and stuff have been changing a lot, but the basic premise of the team wants to accomplish a goal, and when they issue the order to the Bastion to perform that goal, if they fail the die roll, it creates an adventure hook that they have to resolve, or they have to relegate it to the NPCs. That has been working incredibly smoothly. The rest of it's just ironing out the little twiddly bits, but I'd say it's about 90% of the way there. There might be a few little things that need ironing out. But if you find anything along the way that seems sus, that needs more attention, by all means, point it out to me, and I'll happily pontificate on it and grind it out so it works well. But anyone that's interested in messing around with it, of course, the document's linked down below, as is my Discord server. Be free to chew on this thing, drop it in the Discord, and start a conversation with me about it in the Bastion campaign channel. And I'm happy to work with that. And if you want to add it to your campaign, I'll include you in the playtesting, and we'll make that happen. So we got the level based, and then we got the reward based, which is treasure, and then there's self-funded. Let's see, reward based, and how about instead of self-funded, we'll call it purchased. In a campaign that can purchase bastions, the hirelings can be issued in a campaign that can purchase bastions. Characters can exchange gold they possess for Bastion points to invest into a Bastion, and if a Bastion is already established, the hirelings can be issued orders to trade or buy additional Bastion from goods and services produced by from the goods and services they produce. Do I want to... Let's see. Let's see. The hirelings can be issued orders to trade. Or they can perform acts of sabotage and warfare to steal bastion points from other bastions. Yeah. So purchase isn't the right term. How about what would be a snazzy phrase for that? Reward based, level based, ordered. Order based doesn't sound right. I'm trying to create some sort of common language here that's consistent. So, reward based, level based, gaining bastions, by gaining points with levels. Gaining points with levels. Gaining points as rewards. And then gaining points gaining points through orders. There you go. Issuing orders to gain points. Gaining points as rewards. And there we go. Issuing orders to gain points. In a campaign, let's see. Let's see. In existing bastions can issue orders to hirelings. Existing bastions can issue orders to gain additional bastion points through the hirelings trading or buying .20 minutes left. Existing bastions can issue orders. Can be issued orders to gain additional bastion points through hirelings. Through the hirelings trading goods and services they produce, or they can perform acts of sabotage and warfare to steal bastion points from other bastions. For example, Xanathar's Thieves Guild in Waterdeep is a bastion with a spy network and saboteurs that can be issued orders to extort local businesses in the city. issuing these orders. Issuing these orders, when successful, rewards one or more Bastion points that Xanathar. Bastion points each turn that Xanathar can then use to improve guild facilities, issue additional orders to members of the guild, or expend them to improve the results of hireling D20 tests to succeed at other orders issued. Period. Blending methods. The DM can decide. We'll skip past that for now. Multiple and shared. That works. That seems to work. Okay. I think a little bit better with that language. Accumulating Bastion points not only determines the rank of the Bastion, but they can also, they are also used to acquire and improve facilities, issue orders, and modify D20 modify D20 tests that hirelings and characters make with the Bastion. Characters and hirelings make within the Bastion. There we go. Adding and improving facilities, sustaining a lifestyle. I feel like maybe I need to add more to that, but I'm not sure exactly what right now. But it definitely needs more. Facilities. Facilities are areas within a Bastion with equipment and materials that characters can use during downtime activities and that hirelings can use to carry out orders issued to the Bastion, period. Adding and improving facilities. Below is a list of facilities that can be added to a Bastion. Each facility requires one Bastion point and 1 point each. Each facility requires one Bastion point. Let's word it like this: adding a facility to the Bastion requires one Bastion point, and improving the Bastion by one rank requires one Bastion, and improving them requires one Bastion point per rank for each facility. Period. The total number of Bastion points that can be spent on any individual facility cannot exceed the current rank of the Bastion itself. And each facility added or improved requires a separate order for each point spent, up to one per facility each Bastion turn. For example, a rank 3 Bastion with 24 Bastion points can have a total of 8 facilities improved to rank 3, 12 facilities improved to rank 2, 24 facilities added at rank 1, or any combination of facilities from rank 1 up to a total of 24 points, period. That might not be the best example for the context, but there it is. Space and hirelings. Each facility let's use actual English. There we go. Each facility requires a minimum amount of space and a minimum number of hirelings to operate at to operate as determined by the rank of the facility. Space. The amount of space a facility requires is determined by its rank, measured in 5 increments of 5-foot squares, as listed on the table below. Rank squares: 4, 16, 36, 64, 100. So a first rank facility, squares, example, and then what? Example. Rank, squares, examples. 4, 10 by 10 space, a 10 by 10. By 10 foot room, 5 foot by 20 foot room, um, 20 foot by 20 foot, 10 foot by 16, that'd be, 10 foot by 40 foot. This would be, what, 6 by 6 would be 30 foot by 30 foot, or like 36 squares divided by 2 is 18, so like 20 foot by 45 foot. 40 foot by 40 foot, 50 foot by 50 foot, comma, 20 foot, let's go say 10 foot, 20 foot by 25 times 5 is 100, 125 by 125 foot. 25 foot by 100 foot. How about that? Hold on. 25 is 5. Yeah, 25 foot by 100 foot. Yeah, that makes sense. This could be, say, 64 squares. Let's see. Divided by 2 is 32. 16, 20 foot by 50 by 80 foot, for an example, etc. 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 The size, the specific dimensions of the space can be any configuration you choose, you wish, but all 5-foot spaces must be adjacent to at least one other 5-foot space. The height, the ceiling of a facility can be up to 10 feet high per rank without expending additional per rank, and multiple stories can be stacked on top of each other as adjacent spaces, period. Hey, what's up? Why Wizards don't put their Bastion systems in the SRD? They could get a lot of positive feedback from the community. They wouldn't do that because it's a specialized system, just like they wouldn't be, they don't add hardly any feats, and they hardly add any subclasses. They think that Bastions is a means of pulling people. I suspect when they came up with the Bastions idea, they thought, boy, wouldn't this be cool for Project Sigil to give people a Bastion space that they could purchase all this stuff, like tables and hat racks and weapon racks and beds and carpets, all this little accoutrement that they could purchase in accoutrement packs for like $8 to like an alchemist lab furnishing. Like if you want the laboratory facility, you could purchase the Bastion dressings kit for a $5 microtransaction or whatever. I think they're overestimating the value of people building houses inside of Project Sigil, considering that they pretty much mothballed the entire project. But I'm pretty sure that was one of the major items that they were thinking about when they were attempting to place walls and barricades around people creating virtual assets through the OSR to be able to produce stuff. That's a very Microsoft Xbox microtransactions sort of perspective to take with D&D 5.2.4. So I'm pretty sure that's the accurate assumption. Like that's a way to microtransaction monetize the Bastion system. It doesn't have much utility otherwise. They could have included a whole bunch. They could have provided all of the player's handbook in DMG in Creative Commons to make them freely accessible universally for everybody. But they just want to provide the core mechanics in Creative Commons and use their Bastion system as unique to the Dungeons and Dragons brand of 5e, not giving up too much of their system development to other third-party producers. So I don't agree with their strategy. This is the problem when you have people making decisions that don't understand or love the game. They look at it from how can we tear the game apart to exploit different components of it, not really understanding how valuable are those components on an individual level. So that was just them misreading the room and misreading their audience and not understanding the medium that they were operating in. But I'm pretty damn sure this was one of the major things that they were thinking about that they could do with their Unreal Engine 3D environment that's excellent at rendering objects in space. I'm certain of it. Let's see, the rank order issue, limited size. If you want to... There. Facility boon, efficient space. You can use one resource to reduce the size of facility. No, I'm not going to use that. Let's get rid of that for now. Yeah. There we go. Rank, and then we have size, cramped. I'm using the language that they have in the DMG and expanding on it roomy, just to remain consistent. I don't necessarily think it's important to have titles for this, but I'm including them because they're in the DMG. So I'm attempting to have as much reference to the DMG content as possible, just to have comparable reference, like what are we trying to do with this? Where does that relate? If I read the DMG and the Bastion system that's in there, I want you to then be able to take those Bastion campaigns and see where every component from the Bastions that's published in the DMG has been expanded on and incorporated into this larger system. So that's the sole purpose for expressing a title of size. Squares, example, and then facility rank, minimum squares, space examples, minimum hirelings, die. One, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, 1d10, 1d12. Oh, we have a cap on Bastion points, so this isn't relevant anymore. A Bastion has a separate space and hirelings for each type of order. To add the Bastion die, no order can exceed the rank of the Bastion. Okay, no, we don't need to have that here. That's irrelevant. Let's see, space. The amount of space and number of hirelings a facility requires is determined by its rank. Space. The specific dimensions of the space can be any configuration you wish. The space required is measured in 5-foot squares, which can be configured in any arrangement you choose, comma, but all 5-foot spaces must be contingent to each other, contiguous. What's the definition there? I think define contiguous. Sharing a common border, touching. Must be adjacent and contiguous provide sample floor plans demonstrating configurations. Size of facilities, we have that now resolved. Each order has a separate space that related facilities can occupy. Yeah, we were playing with the idea of creating spaces based on orders and then dropping facilities into those orders. That's a level of complication. That's I think a little bit too complicated. So I want to simplify the system. It was starting to get a little bit more complicated than we need it to be. Space, hirelings, and we're done. Hirelings will be done for the day after this. So hirelings, the hirelings required. The listed number of hirelings. The listed number of hirelings is the minimum to operate a facility at the listed rank. If there's less hirelings than the minimum, the number of hirelings limits the effective rank of a facility. If the minimum listed number of hirelings is not present in the facility, the number of hirelings limits the effective rank of a facility. If the minimum listed number of hirelings for its rank are not present in the facility, it can only operate at the at a rank that there are enough hirelings to perform. That's kind of clunky. So, for example, if a Bastion has a rank 3 workshop, with only 4 hirelings, it can perform. It can fulfill orders as a rank 2 facility, even though it has enough. Even if 3 Bastion points have been invested into the workshop and it occupies 36 or more squares. Characters that spend a Bastion turn can be included as a hireling in one facility each Bastion turn. Characters can be included as a hireling in one facility of your choice each Bastion turn. There we go. I don't think we necessarily need efficient operations or diverse workforce mentions here. Each order has a separate space that relates. Yeah, I don't feel that's adding anything right now. So I'm going to get rid of that to keep things simple. Space. So space and hirelings. We have that listed out here. The cost to house and maintain hirelings is part of the lifestyle. The cost to house, the cost to the cost, the costs of stocking facilities and compensating and affording stocking facilities and affording hirelings is part of maintaining a lifestyle for the Bastion as detailed below. So the lifestyle, the lifestyle aspect, or the lifestyle maintain covers all the expenses for the Bastion and simplifies the economics of how the Bastion operates by basically resolving it all as a ability check, like a lifestyle die roll, a lifestyle check, as it were, or like a lifestyle save, perhaps. And if, as long as you're able to maintain a poor or better lifestyle, the place isn't being robbed, it's not getting broken into, there's not squatters, things aren't falling apart. It's not awesome, but it's also not in disrepair. If you can't at least maintain at least a poor lifestyle, if it's squalid or wretched, things are getting stolen, people are just disappearing or not showing up, things are falling apart and breaking, machinery malfunctions. You aren't maintaining the facilities properly because you aren't the investment of profit and resources that are generated by the Bastion aren't being reinvested into its operations. It's starting to decay from the inside, basically. That's the idea. I forgot about Sigil. I wonder why. Yeah, no kidding, right? Let's see. And then we have the list of Bastion facilities. There. Okay, that's probably that's at least a bare minimum, the space required and the amount of minions. And then we'll have the actual list of Bastion facilities, what each Bastion facility does with its properties, listing out the details of each listed Bastion. And then once we get to the end of the Bastions, then we go into the benefits of having the facilities, what the basic the facility benefits, downtime activities that can be performed in the various facilities, and the orders that can be issued to the basic downtime activities, downtime dice, magical charms, and then orders, actually issuing orders to the facility. So, and then we'll go through all the basic, and then how all the orders are configured, which I like the mechanics of all this, and I think it all works. But we need to spend time on it to make sure that the language is just to make sure that it's where it needs to be at, and to help fold it into the general system. So, but I'm out of lunch. My lunchtime is over, so I'm gonna have to cut stream here for now. I'm going to be on my Discord server this weekend. We're going to be doing some Mega Dungeon playtesting for the Martial Power System. We're currently 7th level. If anyone's interested in this Bastion campaign, be welcome to join the Discord server link down below. Jump into the Bastion campaign channel in the Discord, and ask questions, and let me know what you're thinking, or if you have any questions about stuff. I know that there's a lot to take in, and that this design stream that we're working right now is basically me hashing text and half explaining things and just kind of talking my way through stuff. That's just where we're at with the process. Eventually, we're going to get this language locked down, and we'll be doing the page layouts for it, and then we'll be doing the artwork for it in the mornings. And when we get to that point, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about every subject on that page. As I do artwork for a page, I talk about the text on that page that the art is related to. So we'll be doing, eventually, when we get to that point, we'll be doing deep dives into every subject about this system. You can check the previous playlist. The first 30 episodes was the basic mechanics before the Bastion system existed. The next 20 was us building out this document to where it's at right now and playtesting. And now we're at episode 51, 52, and now episode 53, where we're taking all those mechanics and we're starting to actually build the language, the actual text of the book, which is what we're going to be spending our Mondays, Thursday nights, Tuesday, Friday lunches on, probably for the next couple weeks. So maybe next month or so. We'll see how long it takes. But once we get this hashed out to the point where I like the order of stuff, I'll probably be hiring a co-writer and an editor to help me see past my own limitations to where this needs to be at and further develop it to an endpoint that we can then do the page layouts and the artwork for. So, yeah, right on, man. Fernando, I really appreciate you hanging out, dude. And Steve, thanks for swinging in, and everyone else that's been checking out the channel. I really appreciate you guys. If you want to see more of this stuff, or if you're interested in the things that we're building, you know, like the artwork that we're doing in the mornings, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll be back at it on Monday with you guys. So I'll see you then. Thanks a lot.